I try to be as open as I can. Why don't you look at me? I'm tired of being the invisible man. The invisible man.
Who is that? Who's the masked man?
Oh, the invisible man. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Invisible Man. We have a few people in the audience from familiar names. So, based on our show last week, can someone confirm that you can hear Ryan? Say hi, Ryan.
Yes. Say hi, everybody. We're trying to avoid... And the peanut gallery has begun.
Okay.
Everyone who's in the Shalem, Chris, or Pauline, if you can hear us, give us a thumbs up. We had the mother of all glitches with our audio last week. We don't want that again. So,
Okay, if we can get the confirmation on that, we'll get started. Because we don't want to go for an hour again with no audio.
correct.
I only know so much sign language. The rest is
I only know two signs.
yeah. And they're not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
One of them is like this.
Okay, perfect. we can be heard. All right, so there we go.
Yes.
So I'll start again. Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Invisible Man. My name is Mark David Stallard, and the guy who's on his own there on the left is my bandmate, very good friend Ryan Janz. His middle name is also David, but he doesn't use it even though he should. And we are. It's all in the mind.
It's all in the mind. Hey,
You know, when we're in the room, the delay sounds better. Or not, you don't notice it. Anyway, so today, while everybody out there, if you can like, share, subscribe, whichever platform you're on. We had a couple of viewers live and joining us from Periscope. I saw you have someone already on Periscope joined us. So please share, like, give us little hearts, and maybe start a watch party. Get your friends involved as well, because everybody does help. There we go. And yeah, so you can find us on Facebook and on YouTube. Go to theinvisibleman.ca, links to everything. So, okay, with that out of the way, we actually have a great band from right here in Winnipeg. Now, we've had bands from all over the world. We've had, lots from the UK, lots from the US, someone from a band from Spain, and even we've got one coming up from South Africa. But to prove, without doubt, that this is the true international show, we have someone from right here in Winnipeg. So, so they're a powerful, creative rock band. They've played all over the province, Manitoba, and they claim among their influences musical legends such as Billy Joel and Elton John. We'll find out what that really means. So here they are.
Awesome! That is awesome!
Have to dig.
There we go. Now, there were some other ones that you go, that makes sense, but I thought I'd pick on those two. So let's just go straight into finding out who you guys are. So I want to just maybe tell everyone a little bit about yourselves.
Well, I'm Bill Parisian, drummer of the Chronic Pain, one of the co-founders, and I've been playing music for 30 years, and nothing like bringing joy to the people out there, and everybody can relate to music somehow, one way or another, and that's what just makes the passion drive, Nick?
Oh, you know what? I could talk for hours, but I'm Dave McDonald, singer of Chronic Pain, co-founder with Billy. Actually, Peter too. But the point is, it's great just to make music, especially with these three. It brings me joy. It's even better when you see joy on faces of people, and it makes it all worthwhile. The whole thing. If it's not about fun, it isn't worth it.
Right, I agree.
Cool.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Peter?
My name is Peter Gross. I play bass.
Yes! Another bass man.
Your bass.
you know what? Every band has to have one, so we apologize, but we need a bass player.
Hey, it's okay. We stick together, right? Right, bass.
Diva.
Come on, bass, bro.
Not every band has a great bassist.
He'd argue
Okay,
with
fair
me,
enough.
So.
I think Gene Simmons might have some competition. And one thing about this band is we are very talented and we are legendary. Legendary chronic gang.
All original, nothing but original.
Yeah.
And
No covers from this band.
if we give you chronic headache, we'll pass out pills.
Yeah. COVID friendly. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm the new guy, Nick, guitar player. I've been playing in bands across the city over 25 years, many different ones, but it's a true blessing to play with these lads.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, how much did they pay you for that?
Not enough. I heard something about residuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that can be quite the motivator.
Oh yeah.
Particularly even if it's just a few pennies for what we get paid on places
Oh,
like
it's,
Spotify.
yeah,
Yeah.
streaming is great, isn't it?
Indeed.
42 cents this week, guys.
Wow, that's lots. That must be 10,000 plays.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep, yep. Oh, we have a guest. We have a surprise guest.
Oh, hello.
Hello there.
Another Chronic Pain
Can I,
fan.
may I have some licorice, please?
Can you say hi? Hi. What'd you get there?
Hi.
You got
Are you
licorice?
Colin?
Licorice.
Licorice,
I love
yeah.
I got two
Licorice.
panties here.
Where'd you get that from?
From Grandpa.
That's from Grandpa. Oh, of course Grandpa gave you licorice. Okay, can you say bye to everyone? Bye-bye.
Bye. See you later.
Hey, kiss.
Now, I know I do insist that with no controversy on the show, but that wasn't licorice. Licorice is black.
this is true.
Right, sorry.
She's 3, man.
That's a
It's
Twizzler.
okay. It's
That's a
licorice.
Okay.
All right.
At that age, when they give them black licorice, they're like, yeah, I don't like this.
Or hold me in my seat. You know.
No, you see, here's the thing: is I would have to agree with you, Mark. I prefer black licorice to red, or what we as Canadians would call red
It's
licorice,
licorice
right?
or it's Twizzlers.
There you go.
Sure.
See, this is why,
Okay.
this is why I want to avoid controversy on the channel, on the show.
All right, and
We
this
get
is
sidetracked.
currently why we don't start a fist fight over licorice. That's why I'm filming at my location in Mark's
Better put something
his
on
place.
face. Lollipops.
Yeah, the international plague isn't has nothing to do with it.
Oh,
Yeah, no
there
kidding.
you
The
go.
world grinding to a halt and changing everything out that we do for life. It didn't have anything to do with that, not at all.
Okay, so I think we got some clues to the next question there, but how did you guys meet, and how long have you guys been playing together?
You start, yeah.
Okay, about 20 years ago, I was working with Peter here, ran into him at work, and he played bass. And, well, we hooked up, and soon enough later, about 20 years later, we're still here playing stuff, making music, great music together. And then about 5 years ago,
And now.
and about 5 years ago, 6 years ago now that we ran into Dave, great singer here. And then going through some guitar player
Some
change
good
ups,
guitar
and
players.
we happened to come across Nick, and he's just one heck of a good fit for us.
He's our man.
And he just gels, man. Like we're all
Yeah.
one big family now, and the music is just pumping right through us. And
Feel very blessed, honestly.
here we are today on the Invisible Man Show with you guys.
Nice.
And thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thanks for coming.
And the magic started at a place called Dew Hot Color Service
Yeah.
in Winnipeg.
Making paint swatches. That's right.
Oh, boy.
Right. So the name, we do have a couple of people in the audience that are really chomping at the bit to find out what your musical influences are, but I'm going to tease them for a little bit longer.
Well, we already
Why
said
did
Billy
you-
Joel, man. Like,
Why-
how do you not see that?
So
Billy
why did you
Joel.
pick, why did you pick the name Chronic Pain?
Can I
yeah.
explain why I like it? Because chronic pain doesn't only deal with physical pain, it deals with financial pain, spiritual pain, mental pain, love pain. So
Pain.
it covers all pain levels of the human life.
Exactly.
Good pain,
That's right.
And
if
when,
you're into that.
and when you got chronic pain, all you need is a little chronic.
I was waiting to see that tie-in. I was just waiting to see that tie-in. I was like,
Actually, we wanted to stay away from the chronic tie-in. Not
you tried.
Not
I'll
that
give
we're
you.
against it or anything like that. But we figured 2 joints on our logo would probably just sell us down the river.
Plus, there's me who's completely straight sober, never had anything in my life. So
Oh, that's all good, man.
hey, somebody's got to drive the bus and babysit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've had those nights too, where with friends growing up, where it's like you get to be the designated driver. Did you cheat them out of the extra $5 for gas that really went to go get a burger at the end of the night after you dropped everyone off? Or I mean, should we be talking about that after
He does all the work every gig, so it's really hard to blame him.
I might be 40, but I'm still growing. That's why we like the Bulldogs so much. It's
Yeah.
a nice place, close venue. We're 10 minutes away.
Yeah, have a block and a half.
Great venue. Shout out to Greg Gordon.
Yeah, there's a lot of shout outs to a lot of people. We'll do it later, I guess. But
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, you've got an hour or 45 minutes now, I think.
yeah, we're not in a hurry, so don't.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. And the more shout outs, the best, actually.
I actually have.
Now, talking of venues, there, I'm just jumping ahead on my own questions there. How are you? So with the Bulldog, how are they limiting the audience there? You can
Well,
have like a
the thing
third.
was before we were okay, but with the things that they changed in the last week and the implement of possibly only 10 people, we don't know what's going to happen because we have a show coming up the 24th of October at the Bulldog.
With Allison Flames, the
So-
great Allison Flames
So
cover
we're
band.
a month away. Maybe by that time we might be okay. We don't know. We're going to have to play it later.
Yeah.
But I've been going to the Bulldog a couple times since then, and because it's a very big venue, it's not a huge crowd. They're okay so far. But if we got a big crowd, it might be an issue.
We're just gonna play it by ear and
Yeah.
see how it goes.
But we could get a lineup of people out the door.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I was actually out yesterday. I was at a couple of places in Transcona. I popped in to see if we could book some shows there, and Joe's Pandora Inn I was at, and we haven't had live music since January before COVID.
Yeah.
Like, so they're shutting down. It's like we got left fewer and fewer places as it is before.
I think sadly it's gonna get a little bit worse before it gets better, But hey, we all gotta be safe and do the right thing.
You know what that does? It gives you lots of time at home to write.
Yeah,
Yeah, to get
Yeah,
But
your
as long as we can get out there and entertain the fans, hey,
we'll be
awesome.
there.
Right on. We'll be
Yeah.
there.
and we'll be
Forefront.
good-
Yeah,
and
it's,
we'll fit our 25 fans.
Yeah. We'll play to 1, or we'll play to 1,000 or 1 million. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the same show. 1 person, 1 million.
I think one of my favorite places to play, and I've said this many times on the show, because we do folk jazz. We get a drummer, and if we get other members to sit in, then we got a bigger sound. But it's just the 2 of us. We market ourselves as folk jazz pop. So smaller venues fit our sound. So Joe Black, which we will often get like 12 or so, maybe 15 people turn up plus the regulars. And that
Well,
place
we
is-
might
that
get
place is
20
packed.
people, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we might get 20 people throughout the evening, but they'll come in, watch for like one set, and then leave, right? In
Yeah,
between
but,
sets.
but still, I mean, that's packed for that.
Well, hey,
Mhm.
internet killed the radio star, right? Like,
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
It has
That's
certainly,
true.
it certainly killed any chance of.
I mean, not that I'm unhappy with this. This is awesome.
Yep.
I only mean that. Think about it. Now we have to worry about streaming services.
Yeah.
And all that.
All
kind
right.
of stuff.
So we actually have a couple of questions. One from our one of our long-term or time fans, Shalim, is asking. One, have you ever played the zoo, Winnipeg staple, before it got torn down? And 2,
Yeah.
what are your favorite places? Yeah. Hands up. I did too. I
Zoo,
played it too.
all of us. Isaac and the zoo.
I
Yeah.
played there in the back of Dallas years ago, and that was the best stage I think I have ever played. I'm gonna miss that place.
The Albert,
Yeah.
good old Albert.
Yeah, I played.
Oh, yeah.
Royal Albert.
I played the album on Naked Night. That was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced, but weird, but fun.
I've been to lots of shows at the Albert, but I never got a chance to play there. And what happened was, I guess they totally gutted and redid everything, and it never opened up. And I don't know if they ever made any track
They did open, I think, for like a month.
They,
Or 3
opened up.
weeks.
They opened up for a short time. There was a few bands, and then it closed down again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I played the Albert, it was way before that.
Yeah, I'm talking
Yeah.
20 years ago when I played it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I just remember going. It was more like I just won that bragging right. It's like one of those staple places. It's kind of like if you're a Toronto band, you want to go play Lee's Palace, right? Because it's just like that's it. That's like the place. And the Albert is one of the places. It's like the zoo, right? It's like
Right.
if you're a band in Winnipeg, you probably played in either both or at least one of those. And yeah, I've played in both Aussies and and the zoo, both in the same place. We played at the Cavern, which is now called the Underground.
Yeah, we haven't
many
played
times.
that place yet.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about the Albert was the Albert had the most oddest band playing there.
Oh man!
So many unique players. You
Back
go
in
to
the day, Wayne let anybody on that
right,
stage.
you go
Yeah.
to-
That literally was as close to the LA punk scene that you could get, where
Yeah.
people would like literally like throw like take a peanut butter and smear it on their face and then like hit themselves in the head with the mic, like weird stuff. And then the next band would be like a screamo metal band, and then there'd be like a band like us, like a folk poppy kind of band. It just anything goes at
But that's
the
the great thing about
Henry
the old
Rollins. Henry Rollins
Right.
played.
yeah. Anyone could play there. But Mark, maybe we might want to hit that song now.
Sure.
We're probably about 20 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
And we usually try and
Basement
We're having so
track.
much fun.
Just
Yeah,
so
do
you-
So do you guys want to introduce the song before we put it on?
it's a basement track that we're just working on, and we figured, you know what better place to shoot it out to the world than right today.
and it sounds good for
Oh, thanks, Peter.
basically one take.
Well, we record a lot of stuff with a hanging mic, Sennheiser mic, plugged into one channel.
What you're going to listen to is raw and live. And
Yeah, but it's new Chronic Pain, and
What's it called?
check it out. It's called You and Not Me.
Okay. We're going to play a slideshow. Not too many pictures there, but it'll keep you busy. Guys, if you just remember your mics are hot, so you might want to either keep quiet or mute your mics. Okay,
Say no
just FYI. Okay, here we go.
Okay, that's the short version.
If we believe all the lies we tell ourselves every day, hiding in plain sight in corners far, far away. Where do you believe anything I ever say? Or is it easier to let things fade away? Yeah, does this work for you? Living life unglued. Yeah, do you want the truth? I think it's me and not you. If we tell ourselves everything is really a-okay, and your lies don't really sting that much anyways. Do you enjoy the road we follow every day? Is it easier to let things slowly burn away now? Does this work for you? Living life you don't see. Do you want the truth? I think it's you and not me. You and not me, me and not you. You and not me, me and not you. I can't cast the first stone. Yeah, pictures on the wall are slowly fading us out. Tiny cracks are now chasms filled with ugly doubt. And when you scream does this work for you? Living how we do. Do you want the truth? I think it's me and not you. Well, this fantasy just had to come to its end. And we've come to the forks in the road. In the bend now. Better to walk our separate ways. This isn't love, it's a dream we perpetuate now. Hope you're happier now when I call. Things seem better now after the fall. Yeah. I still hear you sometimes walking down my hall. Love ain't something you hang on the wall. Yeah. Are you happy now? Are you happy now? You and I.
There we go. Thank you much, guys.
Hey.
That's great.
Uh,
Now,
Sorry.
I'd like to say right at the beginning, before we had some rather amusing comment, or at least one rather amusing comment that we have to read out. But when I first started off, I'll get my 2 cents in worth. When I first started off, I could hear the doors in there, definitely some doors, and
Hey.
particularly when it sounded like there was a bit of a megaphone, a little bit of the vocals were pulled back a little bit, reminding me a little bit of Eye on the Walrus kind of Beatles era stuff.
yeah, man. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I
TMI.
definitely see the Billy Joel in like that progressive, and maybe in a little of that Elton John in that melody, that guitar riff melody. They have that, just those little hints of that type of progression. That absolutely is something there. It was funny is because when we obviously get your material before, and we try and listen to it as much as possible to be familiar with your stuff. I mean, as soon as I heard the first 2 tracks off, I think it was Bandcamp or Reverb Nation, whatever it was.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, probably Reverb Nation. I was like, yeah, okay, 70s LA punk scene here. Like I'm hearing like the Circle Jerks and like all these other like punk bands that I really enjoyed. And like, you know, when you get real angsty and angry, you're like, oh, I'm gonna throw a brick through a window. And like, let's get the, you know, whatever, the Germs, and I'm gonna throw a brick through a window. I'm like, yeah, right on. This is good, because we don't usually have a whole lot of, there isn't like a lot of support for punk. But then when Mark,
and then we slide you to the third, right?
yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like Mark's like, yeah, we got Elton John and Billy Joel as influences. I'm like, what? No, come on. And then all of a sudden I hear this song, and it's like, oh yeah, I see it. I get it. I like this like nice, chilled out, mellow track, and
we
it's
wanted
like
to release a nice, quieter, nicer one because we got some heavy stuff coming. So
good stuff, and it's nice to be able to vary when you're able to vary like that. I mean, I guess it all depends on how you want to look at it from a success point of view. I've said it on the show before. There was an interview with Angus Young from AC/DC when Back in Black came out, and he said, well. And the guy who's interviewing him was trying to be a smartass and saying, well, it sounds like you've released just another same sounding album. And he goes, no, we've released 12 of the same type of sounding albums.
outrageous.
And so they nailed their style down, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's,
Who can replicate AC/DC? Nobody.
Exactly. So they had their niche. They had cut their groove. They knew exactly where they were going and what they were gonna do. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that in that aspect. But when you're an international success, you can afford to release 20 of the same albums. For the rest of us who struggle to sell 200 albums over our career, we have to grow and make sure that we're reaching as wide an audience as possible, right? So both are fine. So I think we've got a question in the back there. Yes, I see.
Yeah, in the peanut gallery.
Sorry, I don't usually have an internet, so I'm still in the 80s. But the thing about AC/DC is they have their sound, but every song that you need, every song that they play, it doesn't all sound the same.
That's right.
The reason I play.
That's the reason why he plays.
I think the good thing.
I thought it was because of me, but now
What I thought was, what we came to the conclusion was we could have released a heavier one. We have a lot of other heavy stuff. This came out of the Blue and One jam session. It's a chord progression I've had for 100 years. And we started playing around with it. And we were going to release another one. And then Pete, our bass player says, no, let's release this one. I thought, it's a brilliant idea. It's right out of left field. It's not traditionally a heavy song. So it might stick a little better.
Plus, it's a pretty song.
Yeah, I didn't really scream in it. It was weird.
It's very pretty.
Well, what's really nice about it is you can come back to it. I mean, even when you think about a band, I'm going to pick on the punk, what they call the punk renaissance, a band like Rancid, right? Has like lots of like, I hate everything, and we're gonna burn it to the ground. We're gonna sing about people ODing in bathrooms. Like, yeah, that's fine. They got all that stuff, and then they have a song like Ruby Soho, where it's like this fun, and the lyrics are kind of dark in it. It's sad,
I was gonna say, groovy kind of album, yeah.
But it is like that, and Outcomes of Wolves is one of my favorite albums. I love that album. I can listen to that one straight back to forward anytime. But they have different types of reason. It's not just the same thing. It's different, right? And that might actually catch someone and be like, oh, that's punk. Maybe I should give this another chance, right?
Yeah.
And then start digging deeper into it. And yeah, you don't have to go as far as like the Germs and the Circle Jerks, but you could stay in like that era and like, oh well, here's No Effects and RKL and all these other bands that sort of broke in the 90s, right? And experience that, have that kind of experience, right? So
that's the great thing about having not us, but just listening to so many different kinds of music.
But also the issue is there's a lot of people that think if you're a hard rock band, that's all you're good at, or if you're a pop band, that's all you really do. But a lot of people don't realize bands like Kiss, Zeppelin, all the stuff, Jimi Hendrix, that they have not released yet, they go from one spectrum of the universe to the other spectrum.
True enough.
Yeah. So if you listen to in Through the Outdoor and you go all the way back to Led Zeppelin 1, you're going to think, well, that's a totally different band.
That's right.
Right? Even think from Led Zeppelin 1 to like Led Zeppelin 4, there's enough progression. The psychedelia was moving down, rock was moving up, and then you get into things like physical
Lord of the
graffiti.
Rings theme on 4 is awesome.
Yeah, exactly, right? The bringing in those folk and literature elements are amazing. But here, while you guys we're demoing your song there, and Mark, actually now might not be a bad idea to throw up the contact information for the band while we're doing this. Give yourself a second here. We're gonna give yourself a second to think while we put up your contact information. If you could work with any producer, this is coming from Shalim again, any producer, anytime, any studio, who would it be?
Steve Albini.
Oh, that was a quick. You've been thinking of that one for a while, right?
No. I didn't even think about it.
For me, it would be Bob Rock.
Bob Rock.
Yeah.
Bob
That's
Rock.
Butch Vig would be another good one.
Oh, Butch Vig. Okay. Would you do Butch Vig prior to his work with Nirvana, or would you do him with the Smashing Pumpkins?
There's a beauty of both worlds there. It's
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Yeah. Butch Vig is an amazing producer. Great. A lot of those guys who did work at
Nice.
Sound City were pretty amazing. And guys who were like, here, produce this. There you go. So that's pretty cool.
Sorry, we lost a little bit of audio. We'll be okay.
Oh, that's all good.
Okay, so while you're doing that, actually, let's do a quick shout out to the audience.
There we go.
Of course, Shalem, Pauline, and Chris have been with us since the beginning there. About 15 minutes ago, I think it was Cara. Cara joined us, says hi, everyone. So Cara is a solo artist in her own right, and she also sings in Dustin Harder's Prairie Soul. So thanks for
Oh
joining us.
yeah, actually, yeah, he's a very good guy, Dustin.
Yep.
Shout out to him.
Yep, I shared a stage with him on Saturday. So we had a
There are a lot of great musicians in this city that you'll hear or you may never hear. But this city is full of great musicians.
No, I think if Dustin Harder's Prairie Soul stays around, and I hope they will, they're going to take the world by storm. They are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Dustin, I've seen him obviously with band by himself as well. Just a very talented man altogether.
Very, yeah.
Yeah.
And a great guy. I mean, it's nice when you get the two together.
Yeah.
With musicians especially, but we've been very lucky. Shout out to the church crowd, Sunday Church for Bad Guys. They've always been very supportive of us here in Winnipeg. That's Sid Bloom, Full Circle. We can go on and on and on.
There's a very good community of Winnipeg musicians.
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes back 20 years. It's
Yeah.
always been that way. It's just changed a little because of the situation, but I think when we get past that, we'll go back to normal.
Yeah. And it's funny, just the community here, you tend to hook up with someone or a band or a solo act, and you kind of just seem to spend a lot of time together. We, at the beginning of our career, together, me and Ryan, 2012, we spent a lot of time with Urban Street Funk.
Oh.
Yeah.
And actually, Scott's drummed for us for a few shows as well, and now we're hooked up with best friends with Load. That's how I met Dustin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny how we work.
Or Greg Dwornik at Bulldogs really made a solid attempt to bring the punk scene back, and COVID obviously slowed things down for him.
Yeah, but you know what he did was he brought the essence of what the Albert used to be to the Bulldog, where everybody gets to play and it's fun.
Doesn't matter if you're really good or really bad. Everybody gets a chance to play.
Exactly. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Honestly.
Yeah.
Or even if you play bass.
Yeah. and isn't it funny? You always need a bass player, right?
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's like you always need the tax
and
man.
bassism.
Yeah, someone's always asking if he can drum or he can play bass.
You know what's funny is for a while I didn't tell people I played bass because they'd want me to be in their band. They'd be like, "Oh, I need a bass player. I want you to be in our band."
Yeah.
And then you go to like 2 practices and then the band would break up. So it's like, I'm not telling no one until we actually have a
Something
solid
solid,
solid here, right? And then bass players, because guitar players who just couldn't get work as guitar players would start, "Oh, I can play bass." So then they play bass, and whether that's good or bad doesn't matter. Now I'm competing against somebody else, and then we could not for the life of us get a drummer. Well, it was like Spinal Tap. We've been through like 20 drummers.
It's hard.
Ours don't die; they just don't stick around.
Well,
we've been very, very lucky here.
Well, we're a little high strung. It's hard to tie us down.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about this city. Like you try to find a drummer, he's playing in 6 bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we with the other band that I played with, Mark and I always had almost 2 projects going on when we were going regularly. Both Mark and I Mark would focus on solo stuff, and I had another band more of a heavier band that I played in, and we went through probably about 4 drummers in the 4 years that we played, 4 or 5 years that we played together. And the irritating part is you get to the point where you'd all be jamming and you'd get a good rhythm. You'd play like 2 or 3 shows, and then you go.
And then,
Now you start all over again. All right, here we go. And then we get going, and then no, he's gone, and we have a.
Well, that's why I say we're lucky because I mean I have the greatest rhythm section in the damn world here, and then Nicky walks in with all these new riffs. He hooks in like in their brains like Spock. It's really weird.
Yeah, when we get into the room before Dave starts singing, the 3 of us will spend an hour probably just jamming. Like just so much stuff comes out.
Yeah. And I just hop on it, ad lib, doody, whatever, But yeah, it's a very lucky thing for me, I feel anyway.
They say there's one thing that a lot of people and musicians don't respect is bands. Like my favorite band is, well, it's a toss up between Kiss and Chronic Pain, but I'll say Kiss because it's respect to Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent them our album.
Right. It is when you are a band for 40, 50 years and it's the same members, whether it's Kiss, even if you got a new guitarist, but there's still Ace Frehley, who's part of Kiss, and the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin. Unfortunately, Bonham died, but if Bonham was alive today, he'd still be playing with Page,
Right.
Plant, and John Paul Jones.
I think
today a lot of young musicians don't realize that sticking together in a sense and going through the bullshit together.
Because there's lots of bullshit.
It makes a band stronger. Too many people want to be rock stars tomorrow.
And it doesn't work that way
and
sometimes.
rock and roll.
None of us have got rich, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why rock and roll is the hardest form of music, it's the hardest form of music to play and write, but you got to be odd and different and oddball and kind of screwy.
Well, that's just the bottom line. You could be a rock star, or you can be a musician.
Right?
Bingo!
Know how to write.
Right. But
yeah. Well, I think what ended up happening is you look at bands that made it in like the 60s and 70s. Well, it's exactly right. You're a music or you're a rock star. And then in the 80s, it was all about being a rock star. I'm going to be, because it's all that excess, big hair. I'm going to drive, this, like the movie Rockstar just like nailed it, right?
Absolutely.
Was it Marky Mark played in it?
I actually saw GNR at the Troubadour in 87, 88.
Nice.
And that was a great show, but I wouldn't take anyone there. And you don't ever want to go to the bathroom. But anyways.
Wait, are we talking about the zoo again, or like?
No, Troubadour, yeah, you know that stone in the wall of the zoo? No. Anyways.
Get in, get out, don't touch anything.
Right.
Carry, like, get the chicken finger wrap, like the sanitizing thing. That's how you wash your hands at the zoo.
Yeah, this pre-COVID, we could have used a lot of hand sanitizer back then.
We might be immune to it now because
It's everything else. Just from playing in the zoo. Yeah.
This band is about having fun too.
And not just that, it's also about writing great songs.
Yeah.
What makes a great band is great songs. And,
this may sound a bit pretentious, but
you can write a 2-chord song, but if it's a great song, it's a great song.
I agree. Look at the Ramones.
What people
Hey, they had 3.5, man. Like,
darn right.
That's the magic number.
Yeah.
not all the those were dead.
Right. What people want in rock and roll is quality.
Yeah.
What I like about rock and roll is it's the most hardest audience to break.
Oh yeah.
If you suck, they will let you know.
Yeah.
Any other form of music, if you're a jazz head, will follow a jazz band no matter really how bad they are or how good they are. Rock and roll is an individual institution of music, and it's still the strongest form of music today.
Yeah, and the thing about that is when you get those fans are your fans for life.
That's
right.
true.
That's just it. I mean, you think about some of the bands that we mentioned. You probably listened to them when you were kids. You still love them today.
Still love them today. Yeah.
Right. That hasn't changed. it's not like those something that's new today and push through and in 10 years we're not going to know who they are and come back and say, oh yeah, I remember listening to that in 2000. No, man, we're talking about a band like
now. Sorry.
yeah, exactly. You know, and it's because so much of that internet culture is disposable music. Is about like, hey, get that earworm in your head, get the plays, and make the streaming service millions of dollars, and you get pennies, right?
Chronic pain would be your earworm.
Yeah, right.
You know what I think makes the most fun about this? Because I've only been with these guys for a couple months, but being able to walk in and just play whatever I wanted and to explore the weirdness has been a blessing and a joy. It's just like,
and it's been a blessing for us.
I can make noises, scratches, whatever I want, and the weirder the better.
Yeah.
Actually, when we've had people sit in with us, particularly drummers, but we've had, we were going to be doing some work with a lead guitarist as well, and just trying to get them to say, don't listen to the record. I want you to do you. I want something different.
Right.
That is exactly how we talk. Yeah.
And it's a real battle. It's a real battle. We had a drummer, Dan, and he drummed with us for a couple of years, I think, wasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah.
But he would insist on doing exactly as the record, and I kept saying, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I don't just have a drum track on there. There's drum loops, and I've got percussion. I've got 2 or 3 layers of percussion on there. You can't do this. Don't.
And how are you going to play trombone on the kids? Yeah.
Anyway, Dan was a great guy. No way in any way to criticize.
No, I understand your point.
But
our always was like, Dan, just go ahead, dude. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to throw in a fill here, we did a lot of Beatles cover. We still do a lot of Beatles cover, right? And Dan would be like, okay, well, this is how it was on the album. It's like, oh, dude, like I hats off to Ringo. I mean, he's still alive and kicking, but like at the same point, I don't think he's going to be disappointed that you decided to throw a fill in here. Like,
no.
Chances are he's never going to hear it, and I don't think From what I've heard of him, he doesn't seem to really care.
Yeah, right? On his island. No, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a big pile of money that he falls asleep on every night.
Yeah,
it's all good. You're really good.
Scrooge McDuck coins.
Exactly.
But you got to look at it too. There are a lot of tribute bands out there that are sanctioned by the members of the real band. Like a Kiss tribute band is sanctioned by Stanley and Simmons. Okay, but although Simmons will sanction a tribute band, he still likes to hear a band do their songs with their own spin.
Yeah.
Okay. He doesn't want to hear a player doing Detroit Rock City the way he does it. He'd like to hear the spin of what the guy does on his own. And it's always better to put yourself in the song and not the player you're trying to. You're
make it your own.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's also, you have to respect the fans of music as well. If you are going to do a cover tune, but I agree with you.
But if you respect the fans, we play Chronic Pain. We don't want to give them Kiss.
Well,
they already have Kiss.
Yeah.
We can't. The wheel's already been set. We got to try and turn it around.
We want to respect that.
And it's like you were saying.
Like when I walked the Chronic Pain.
When I walked into the band, they basically told me, "Don't listen to the album. Write your own parts." And that was so much fun. It was just like, here's a canvas, fill it up.
Well, and then he starts walking in with all this new music. So now we got like 9 million new songs every week. No, I'm kidding. But the point is that what he's brought to the band is a very different facet. And I think it actually adds tremendously to.
And the weird thing is, when you get asked where it comes from, the only thing you can say is, we don't know. A song comes from nowhere. You just got this weird twitch in your head. Like,
I mean, there is work. These guys talk, arrangement, da. There's a bit of work in there, but the point is that it comes out of pure fun and pure music
and pure megalomaniac.
There you go.
Kind of thing.
Spontaneity.
Yeah,
and being a megalomaniac, because hey, I go with bass players. Hey, I love Gene Simmons as a bass player, but I want him to say just as much as I say about him. That guy's fucking great.
Oh, language.
And, you want Gene Simmons to give you a round of applause.
Yeah. I would. Don't worry.
Now, talking about where the music comes from, I think we've teased the audience long enough. Let's actually talk about your musical influences. So, who was the Billy Joel and the Elton John fans?
Yeah,
Right
that's
there,
me.
just the one. Oh,
Well, I mean, I like I love their writing. Bernie Taupin, obviously, but I'm a piano freak. The thing is, I can go from that to Tears for Fears, from
Yes.
Elemental, or some really old Tears for Fears, not songs from the Big Chair, which was a great album, and then from there I can go to Judas Priest and listen to Screaming for Vengeance. So, anyways, huge, all over the map.
Yeah. To what level have you found that those softer sounds are affecting your current music?
I think a lot of it's just unconscious. It comes into us, we're sponges, and then what we write musically is just everything we've regurgitated over years and years. I've listened to so much jazz, everything, and I mean, to try and pinpoint a favorite band, it's very hard. There's just so many great ones out there. But I do lean to the stranger guitar. Guys like Frank Zappa, Adrian Belew, Steve Stevens, these guys pioneered different sounds. They didn't stick to a format. And it's a little more exciting, I think.
And for me, well, that's the Chronic.
It's chronic cough.
No. I like I said, Kiss is the ultimate in my head, not just for their music, but they brought the circus on stage in the form of rock and roll.
Rock and roll still has to be dangerous.
You got more bombs at a Kiss show.
Yeah, right.
In a military invasion, and a military bombing. Their show is they allowed people to see how you use a stage, let's say, and how you use effects. But also like ABBA, I like the Cars. I like all types of music,
Billy,
especially when it's comes from the heart and soul, and
Really?
not when it comes from just
hop in there, Bill.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a realness to the. It's what you're surrounded by, kind of subconsciously affects what you do. Because for years, my mum would have country music on every now and again, and I'd always hate it, and I know hate it with a passion. And it was fairly recently that I think Ryan had said something, not say derogatory, but something not. It was to the lines of he doesn't like country, and I'm like, I had to remind him, hang on a second, a good 4 or 5, maybe 6 of our songs, you can hear a very strong country elements. To it.
yeah.
And I hadn't really realized. And one of those songs Ryan co-wrote.
Ryan.
Yep, I did.
Dancing in the Rain. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be straight with everyone. Okay, and when you talk about roots country, like that gets close and has that overlap with the blues, I love that. That's like right there. When you talk about pop country,
Oh God,
kind of like gag.
No,
right?
not Billy Ray
So,
Cyrus.
Yeah, when you're that's just not me. But I think that also like applies to when they're talk about just like pop, like superstar popdom. That just isn't my thing. And you see a lot of that in country. And I do kind of pick on country, but I mean they're formulaic and they know and they know how to reach their audience. Like you could take someone who loves like Billy Ray Cyrus and drop Keith Urban in them, and they love Keith Urban, and it's just like.
But some of those guys can really write.
Yeah, and I'll give you this: Keith Urban has an amazing voice. That guy is a great singer.
Yes, I had no idea.
Right?
Hank 3 said it best.
Hey.
Popcorn country.
Wait,
You termed it. He
hey, okay.
Billy, your influences.
My influences, wow.
Yeah.
Is that my biggest influence, I gotta say, is gotta be Phil Rudd from AC/DC. He's simple, but yet technical at the same time, and the hardcore straight boom at you. But other than that, I have more of a heavier side, Lars Ulrich, Vinnie Paul, Tommy Lee, and also Peter Criss, which I portrayed in a Kiss cover band at one point.
Yeah. You did the makeup for everybody.
But,
Nice.
But it's even Ricky Rocket. He has just a style of his own that I just love. But yeah, those are pretty much my influences. I pretty much go into the heavier side. But for me, I have also played. I grew up listening to country too, but I played everything from jazz to classical to country to all the way up there to speed metal, you know. And it's good to have an open mind for everything that you do, you know, because music speaks individually to everybody.
True enough.
So you want to be able to give that to everybody, give that to the audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love for multiple genres, multiple takes on even the same genre, can really make your music so much more deeper,
Yeah.
and give it so much more color and depth. I said that twice. Anyway.
But that's what rock and roll is all about. Because
Indeed.
every major rock band has done that.
So rock and roll is all about listening to what somebody else did, copying it, and calling it your own.
That's it. Because AC/DC, I can
You
go
got him.
that every metal band has done some weird stuff they not normally don't do. Every good pop band has done some heavy stuff and light stuff and all over the place. Because rock and roll is all about emotions and the soul. It comes from your emotions and from your soul.
It's a beer.
Yeah, right. Depending on the night.
It's a beer without a hangover.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to quote Captain Kirk from was it Star Trek V, the one where they went searching for God. He said,
Oh, yeah.
he said, I need my pain. My pain makes me who I am. So keep me with the hangover. I'm a better person for it.
Yeah. He needed
And so
chronic.
much about that. I mean, when you look at bands like Pink Floyd and some of the stuff that
There's
they're
another
sort of like,
heavy influence.
you know, like you look at those guys, and yeah, they were doing a lot of experimental stuff. But look, like the album "The Wall" is about like, you know, dealing with the success and the pressures that they dealt from being like an obscure sort of mid-success band to international superstars overnight with
Dark
Dark Side of the Moon.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you think about a song like "Comfortably Numb," everyone instantly thinks, "Oh, obviously that's about drugs." It's like, well,
No.
yeah, but it's not about, you know, it's not about just like, oh, I feel like getting high. It's like I feel pressure because now if I blow it in front of if I blew it before, there's 50 people in the audience. They either didn't care or they'd come back and see me when I'm having a better day.
Yeah.
Now I'm filling out 50,000 seats. And if I hit the wrong chord, people lose their shit. Like, we're going to give money back to people.
It's like going
So
to
now
a
I'm-
Zeppelin show.
Exactly. Right. You know, so it's like, there's a thing. They were actually singing about their pain. They're exercising this thing. And yeah, they had this sort of idea of this character named Pink, who was named after two of their, Pink Floyd was after two different blues artists that they really enjoyed. But this character Pink is talking about all this stuff and how he's making this wall and separating himself, and he feels so isolated. Like, what a brilliant album. Like, what a way to communicate to people just how isolating fame is and just how isolating success can be, and all the struggles that come with it.
Yeah.
And also the movie, The Wall, was that movie was great too. A lot of people haven't even seen the movie The Wall. And young kids got to see that. And
As long as you see the concert, The Wall, you'll be okay.
I seen The Wall. Roger Waters was here in Winnipeg, and I actually seen him. And I don't. When they were doing the Wall tour, they were building the wall, and I didn't even notice the wall being built while they were playing. And I said to my friend, I said they had the wall 3/4 built, and I said, when did they build the wall? I don't know. I missed it all.
Too busy enjoying the music.
Yeah.
The show, just enjoying Roger Waters just playing his stuff, and I didn't even notice they were building the wall.
Well, I'm a Guns N' Roses freak too, so I mean, seeing them not in this lifetime, and I think they're still on tour on that album, So, but anyways,
Well, Chinese Democracy got released 10 years ago, so I'm sure he's going to milk that for another 5 or 6 years.
You know what? That album gets beaten up so bad, but it's not that bad.
No, it actually isn't too bad. It makes me wonder why on earth did he wait so long?
Well, I agree. Why remix it 9,000 times too? I hate to say it.
No, it's okay. In fact, you're allowed to criticize the artists that you don't like, or that you like.
Well, of course.
I mean, of course, you're going to criticize the ones that you don't like.
I mean, I love
That's
some
life, right? But it's good to criticize and to look at your artists that influence you critically, right? Because if you don't, you look at them and you'll be like, oh, well, I'm just going to become like, I like this about Elton John. I love his ability to tell a story. He's just a master at some of those
I agree.
things, right?
Billy Joel too.
Right.
Same thing, right? But I don't like this. I don't like that he relies on this sort of progression almost all the time, or this is a very common theme. So I can take what I like about him and I can apply that, and I can just ignore this other thing. Even though this might be a very staple thing that he does, I may not necessarily enjoy it. I can ignore that, but I can look at how he structures a story in a song, and it'll make me a better musician for it, right?
For me, when I write lyrics, I only hope to achieve, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never want to write songs that people go, oh yeah, this is about done. You never want to write lyrics like that.
Let them figure out.
Let people figure out the song for what they feel it is.
Right.
Make the story their own.
Right. Exactly.
And plus, also on the side of criticism, as a band, you have to accept it.
Yeah.
Because let's say if Gene Simmons was at home and he was listening to our disc, he's got the right to criticize us too. The big guys criticize us just like the little guys criticize. And that's all part of
Growth.
growth
absolutely.
and music.
Absolutely.
And if somebody says, like I've said this many times, if somebody ever said I sucked on bass, that's only a compliment. Because
No one ever says that, but anyway.
that only tells me how bad they are.
Yeah, it's like telling the heckler, here, come on up stage and play a song for us.
Oh yeah, you're so good. You come on and show me how it's done then.
I've done that.
I've done that when I was younger, and it bit me in the arse. We played it at school.
Oh
And I
no!
said, come up on stage, you can do better. And the kid came up on stage, and I go, okay, what do I do? I don't know what to do. So I never
But
said
then
that
the
again.
question is like, oh, well, did he do better though? Right?
That's what I was gonna say.
No one touches my guitar.
Yeah.
No, he didn't even get a chance.
You know,
He called my bluff, and he won.
We played at the George one time in another band. It was our first and last gig, and we didn't have a lead singer, so we were just doing instrumental stuff. And some coked out drunk got up on stage and started singing. We were just looking at each other like, okay, I guess we'll just roll with it.
Why not? Yeah. It was probably a great gig.
I'll never forget that gig.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the guitar player. He's looking at me. I'm like, all right, I guess we're doing this.
We got a singer, yeah.
I also had a guitar player in my band years ago, and he figured bass was easy because it's like 4 fat strings, and he had 6 skinny strings. So I said to the guy, I said, okay, we'll switch. Give me your guitar. Here's my bass. And I said to the drummer, lay down a beat, Mr. Drummer. And he laid down a beat. I put some, 4 chords, whatever to it. And the guitar player had no clue what to do on bass. Bass is a very unique instrument.
Oh yeah,
Not anybody. can
underrated
play it.
instrument.
Very much so.
Yes, and it's one of the hardest instruments to understand. There's more than just 4 strings and frets.
Yeah.
There's like,
So much.
yeah,
That's why I say I'm very lucky, because first of all, these two create amazing stuff by themselves. Then now he's walked in the door and he's plugged into them. Now you got this wicked music, and it's just an open canvas for me to write on, and it's awesome. Like,
Right.
It's just an all-around fun, great feeling.
like
Yeah, when you can lock in like that with someone, it's great. I think Mark and I knew within the first 2, maybe 3 sort of jam sessions that we knew we could just like lock in like this, right? I could catch what he wanted to do with his music, and generally when we write, I'll say, hey, Mark, I came up with this, and then he throws his stuff and it just locks up. We rarely have to change. I mean, obviously you tweak and change and do stuff.
Yeah, everything organic
Right, but-
grows.
But for the most part, the core of whatever song, or Mark will come and say, hey, I put these chords together. What do you think? And I'll try a few different things while we're playing, and then we'll get a progression. And then, yeah, we're going to do it. And that's it. We just lock up together. So nice. It's almost a neat and tidy, right? It just falls into place.
We had released Everyone Asks Me with Colorado Phil. And that song was in the first hour of his first practice with the band. And it was so good. We were just like, damn, let's release it.
Raw energy.
Yeah, but
Enthusiasm.
we knew we clicked right away. Like it worked perfectly. Like, so we're lucky, very lucky.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
Okay, and on that high note, we've come to the end of our hour. Probably could keep going, but I suspect I had a whole list of questions planned, and we didn't touch hardly any of them, as I kind of expected that we wouldn't.
Well, I talked a lot.
So we'll have to have you guys back. We absolutely.
Yeah, anytime.
I just want to say one thing. As I thank you guys for letting us into your living rooms and your ears. I want to definitely thank my daughter, my grandkids, Amber, my daughter, my 2 grandkids, Ben and Aria, and all my friends and co-workers at Hot Color Services. And one of the reasons why is this is where I met my drummer at Hot Color Services, and that's where the magic started.
I was just high on the paint fumes.
Yeah, oddly enough, I used to be a printer.
I only got one shout out to my wonderful girlfriend, Rosa.
And I got a shout out, obviously, to my wife and my son, Janine and Connor. They listen to us practice every week.
Yeah, thank
They
you
put
to-
up with us.
Yeah, and
thank you to my family,
yeah,
who's put up with me.
Yeah.
You know, my girlfriend's a big supporter. Her son,
Yeah.
big support. My son is a huge supporter.
yeah,
That's awesome.
great guy.
And also, we want to thank the people who actually give us their ears.
And
And
all the great
fans.
bands in Winnipeg and all the great venues and
Venue
music scene.
management,
And-
venue owners, people, like, there's so many great people in this
We
city.
can name so many
Yeah.
people, you know.
We'd be here forever.
We'd be on your show for another
We
hour.
thank you.
We'll plan on that for sure. We're booked for the rest of the year, but we'll definitely have you at the top of the list for booking in.
Yeah, and you
January,
can't,
February.
it's Chronic Pain Day then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just so for everybody, we've had the contact information up. They're Chronic Pain are active on Facebook. Lots of music for you to listen to on Reverb Nation. And if you would like to contact them, chat, maybe book them for a show.
Anytime. Send us an email. We'll say hello.
Yeah, so official chronicpain@gmail.com. And you can even check out the invisibleman.ca. We'll have this show posted as well, and we'll have some links on and everything. We'll do all this stuff.
Yeah.
We need to
Thank you guys very much.
do. No problem. Now we have to do our promotion. Pretty much everything that we're involved in is linked on the invisibleman.ca websites. We are active on Facebook, of course. Colorado Phil couldn't join. I should have said this right at the beginning. Colorado Phil couldn't join us because he left the US and is came
come
back to
home.
Canada. So he'll be hopefully back next week once he's got the internet set up. Just a couple of things. Don't forget Phil's show, 2 p.m. Central on trilakesradio.com. And if you'd like to just show your appreciation, just to give us a tip by means of a virtual coffee on buymeacoffee.com/It's All in the Mind, we would very much appreciate it. And completely unrelated to the show, I am an author, published a couple of children's books and a collection of
Nice.
you can go to books.mdstallard.com. It's on the screen. Also links on the invisibleman.ca page. So go check those out. And it's been a great show.
Thank you
it's
so
been
much, gentlemen.
a lot of
We
fun.
really appreciate
It's
it.
beautiful.
And thank you to everyone who gives us a listen.
For sure.
We appreciate it.
Shout out to the fans.
Yeah.
Okay, I just started laughing because Chris just mentioned I didn't fix the spell check. I didn't fix the spelling error on that last screen, which has been months now.
You may want to do that.
Thanks, Chris. I could never,
Yeah.
and you I can count on you.
Oh.
Okay, and yes, we will do Garwood Grill sometime, Chris, as well.
Too much fun.
Okay, so thank you very much again,
You guys
guys, for
have been
joining
great.
us. It's been a really, really fun, high energy show, and I think it looks like the
Absolutely.
audience has been enjoying it as well. And we'll hopefully have you back in January. As for
Gotcha.
everybody
Can't
else, we
wait.
will see you all next week, 2 p.m. We did have Bandwagon from the UK books, but they had to back out because of some COVID restrictions, and they can't.
So it'll
they
be
can't
us.
get together. So we're going to have this great Winnipeg band we're going to feature, which we haven't done in a long time, called "It's All in the Mind." Yes, we're going to feature my and Ryan's
All
music next week.
right.
All right.
And I've got one brand new song that I finished about 8:30 yesterday, and I said to Ryan, texted him, I just finished a song. We're doing this one next week. So tune in for that. Plus,
Well, at
we're
least he
gonna
gave me a
release-
week.
Plus, we're going to release.
That's what they do.
we're going to release our music video for the Invisible Man song as well. A mixture of live action and animation. So tune in next week, 2 p.m. It's going to be great. Okay. Thank you very much for everybody watching us on all the
Thank you,
platforms.
gentlemen.
And
Thank
everybody
you.
that's been involved in the chat. So sorry we didn't give you as much attention as we usually do.
No. It's all
But
good.
thank you again
Thank you,
for our wonderful
guys.
guests. And,
Thank you, everyone out there.
And we'll catch you all again next week. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Oh, the invisible man.